As students are learning virtually during the COVID-19 pandemic, Crowley ISD, we are committed to helping all students thrive. You know, more than 10% of our students in Crowley ISD receive support from our phenomenal special education department that's led by Ms. Ruby Baptiste, the Chief of Special Education and Federal Programs in Crowley ISD. Ms. Baptiste, the thought of virtual learning is really overwhelming for any student, but for students and families who are receiving special services, we know that it's overwhelming for them as well. So talk to us about what our educators, our special educators are doing in order to help with this sense of overwhelmness.
Thank you, Dr. McFarland. Well, basically, it is a challenge, like you said, for all families.
No doubt.
But when you have a unique set of disabilities that makes learning altogether a little more different and difficult for you during these uncertain times, we've gotten a lot of feedback and requests from families on how we can make the situation of learning better for them in the virtual setting. So some of the things that we're doing during this time to make learning a little better is just making sure that we're meeting those unique needs. Like some students have physical therapy needs, occupational therapy needs, some targeted behavior goals that they need to work on because they're students with autism. So, and we also have students who have, you know, severe anxiety and that need counseling services. So during the spring, we were able to kind of learn that some of these needs can't be met through a virtual setting, you know, 100%. So we've put some things in place to basically assist those students during this virtual time.
Awesome, awesome. We definitely know that that's a challenge, and our people have gone above and beyond to try to make sure we're meeting needs, and we'll continue to do that. And so, as you mentioned, during our phase 1 of online learning, we learned some things. And I'm excited to report that we've made some progress. So in other videos that we have, where we've talked about virtual learning, we've actually walked through a day in the life of virtual learning students. You know, Mr. Keith showed how independent learning will look, and independent learning blocks of time each day will be used to provide additional support for students. So talk to us about special education and students that are receiving special education services. How will their services look during the day in the life of a student?
Okay, so we have 2 models that will be rolling out beginning September 8th. The first one is 100% virtual online for those students who can thrive in that type of environment. And so just as they would get any pull-out time or consultation time from a special educator, they'll get that during their independent learning block. Also, like if they receive dyslexia services, they'll also get that during an independent learning block. If they need extra time with reading, with math, those are the type of pull-out services they'll be getting. And even if they have some behavioral goals that they're working on, they'll get that during that time as well.
So let me ask you a question about pull-out blocks and kind of in a virtual environment. I know we understand, like when they're face-to-face, we can pull them out of the classroom in small groups. How will we do that? How will we provide those individual services in a small setting virtually?
Right. So there'll be scheduled time where they'll meet with their special education case manager or professional that's working with them, whether that's on the telephone, if it's easier for that family, or whether it's through a Zoom meeting when it's just one-to-one with that professional. So that's how they'll get that time.
So it'll be a small kind of controlled environment, but they'll still get that direct instruction and direct support. Awesome, awesome. Definitely excited about that.
And then our other group of students with the hybrid model that the district is posing, rolling out, should I say. Basically what's happening with that is those are our most profound students who have, you know, severe disabilities. They'll be able to come to campuses once or twice a week to get targeted support in occupational therapy, physical therapy, some behavioral needs if they're on the autism spectrum. And just where we know these students can't benefit from being in front of a computer monitor all day. That's not what they need, and that'll be through a very controlled, small group, safe environment.
Awesome. So they'll be able to come up to the school and really engage at different points in time.
For a few hours, once a week, twice a week.
Gotcha. So if I'm a parent of a student who receives special needs, so is there something that I need to do in order to access these services, or what should I be doing as a parent of a special needs student and realizing that they may fall in this category?
Okay. Well, the first thing, you'll receive a phone call. You'll start receiving a phone call the week of August 24th, letting you know that based on your child's IEP, Individualized Educational Plan, that there are some services that are in there, and we'll give you that option to come in and get those services. If you choose not to, because as a parent you're just concerned about safety and you don't feel that it's the best environment, we'll still provide those services online, but it'll be a different model. It won't be, through direct touch, because some of these services need direct touch.
Awesome. Okay, all right, good deal. So question, I know that in virtual learning, we want to make sure that students are making progress. We want to make sure that they're learning and they're growing, that they're developing their skills and moving forward. So how will we ensure that students are making progress in a virtual environment?
Well, one of the good things that the U.S. Department of Education and the Texas Education Agency left in place is if you have an IEP, or even our students who have a Section 504 plan, because they get dyslexia services, progress monitoring is not optional, so we have to monitor. We'll be monitoring weekly and daily. Parents will get touch points from a special ed professional every Friday, like Mr. Keefe kind of talked about some of the office time that's being done in the evenings and Fridays, because some students, we need to let the parent know that, hey, we haven't seen Johnny with much participation in synchronous learning, or we don't have many assignments turned in. We want that to be known ahead of time and not at the end of the 6 weeks.
Awesome. So yeah, that Friday kind of actually gives us some flexibility that we hadn't had in the past.
Exactly.
So awesome to see that we'll be using it in that way. So also we know our meetings, admissal, review, and dismissal meetings are critical to students that are receiving special education services. So how will our meetings be handled during this process?
So any type of meetings regarding educational involvement, like your individualized educational plan meetings or ARD meetings, Section 504 meetings, and even your LPAC meetings. We're doing those virtually as well via Zoom platform. Also, if we need to do it by telephone. We're not opening up the campuses for those type of meetings because they're usually done in small, intimate settings anyways. So we want to do that and continue the safety measures that we have in place by doing it virtually.
All right, so good. So parents can rest assured that even during this process that we'll be monitoring students' progress, and if students are needing to be admitted into special ed, there'll be an opportunity to do that. If we're able to review or dismiss students, we can do that as well. So our process will occur simultaneously as other instruction is going on in this virtual learning. Is that correct?
Yes. And I also kind of want to bring up another point in regards to that. If a parent is still concerned that their child may need special ed services and they're not getting them at this particular moment, they can still send an email or contact their campus to say, I want my child tested for special education. We'll still be doing evaluations. And evaluations will be done a little differently. We'll have to have some face-to-face opportunities set up for that, but using safety measurements and PPE.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ms. Baptiste, for this information. Great information. I know parents are definitely concerned. I want you to know that we're concerned, that we want to make sure that we provide your students all they need and even more. We know that we're guided by that student's individual education plan. We're going to follow it. We're going to follow it in a virtual environment, and where necessary, we'll be in face-to-face. So we're excited about the opportunity. We definitely want to thank Ms. Baptiste, the entire special education department for their work during this process and even going forward. Parents, we want to make sure that you're watching these videos and understanding more about virtual learning and our safe return. We know that it's important that you have the information, and so we have a safe return webpage that we'd like you to visit to learn more about virtual learning in Crowley ISD. Thank you, parents, for allowing us to work with your children.